You know, something that over time I've kind of taken for granted that I do now get quite a few people want to know kind of my lifestyle on the road and at tournaments and what I do and where I stay. And of course, that's evolved over time. I wish I could go back in time and from there to now real quick, but it would take a while. But, you know, I started out sleeping in the back of my car and sleeping in a little tent. And then finally the cheapest motels you could find, and of course that was always interesting, and but then slowly in the beginning it was all out of necessity because of lack of money and that kind of thing. But over time I finally got a truck camper. My wife got it for me. She insisted I finally get one. I was just sleeping there still for probably 3/4 of my career in the back of a small of a truck. And anyway, so I kind of graduated to really a truck camper. It's what works best for me. A lot of the guys have all kinds of different ones, but a truck camper allows me to put this on a truck. It takes, you probably have to have a 3/4 to 1 ton truck to put a truck camper on it. And I have a 1 ton dually, and it really handles it well. And it's basically an Arctic Fox truck camper. And I'll give you kind of a quick tour. You can see that it goes up in the bed of the truck. And then I have the long hitch you kind of see over there that extends out from under it that I attach the boat to. So I'm basically just going down the road with my truck and my boat behind it in the truck camper. And when I get to the lake, I just drop this off like you're seeing it now at my campsite. And then if I want to drive different places around the lake and practice, I can just haul my boat back and forth. In practice, you don't always want a giant lake like which we're going. If the weather's bad, have to run the whole lake. So I can drive up to another ramp. In the tournament, we have to go out of a central area. But it's basically just provides everything I need. And one of the most important things it provides is that campsite. Because one of the biggest problems you had with the guys that stays in motels and things is where you park your boat every night. And the boat is really the most important thing for me for years. Where it sleeps is more important than where I sleep. Because there's always that campsite now I can go to, and I don't have somebody that's came off the highway and took your parking spot. And now you're worried about where you're going to charge your batteries and all that. Campsites are so convenient in that respect. And I'm packing it now, as you can see. We're fixing to start off the 2024 season, and it's got a lot of these little boxes. And then, unfortunately, being a fisherman, we carry too much stuff, so these are usually going to be full by the time I leave. But it's kind of it's your home away from home, and you really enjoy that part that you know what bed you're sleeping in every night. And like I said, you have a place to park everything. But it's it jacks up automatically. When I get there, I get it off the truck, let it back down in the campsite, and got a little Fox, what they call a Fox landing. This is an Arctic Fox, and that allows me not to fall out on my head when I'm half asleep in the morning when I get up. So it's really very convenient. That's really a big key about it. It has a lot of things I don't necessarily use. It has this little porch deal that goes out. I rarely use it because the problem is when you go out and fish in the day and the wind comes up and it's hard, it'll tear it off. So I'm in the habit of just rarely do I use it. But so it's got ladder. Sometimes you have to get up on top, and that's always fun. So I'll let y'all come on in here with me. It's not very big, but it's perfect for me, or my wife goes with me. We have been known to take son with us one whole season, and a dog, and that gets interesting. The biggest sleeping area is obviously up here, and we've got a new mattress here this year for the 2024 season. This camper's about 4 or 5 years old. And so you had to take care of it because driving down interstates is probably the hardest thing on them. But this actually, converts over into a bed if our son comes with us. And and it's got just the basics, but the simple things in life. And of course, here's an important thing, my wife with me. if she's not with me, it's not important to me because I normally use the facilities in the park. This becomes my tackle storage area. I mean, I'll have that full of rods and tackle and everything. So, but it's still it's in the old days. I didn't have a place when it was cold and hot. I mean, I basically had to, you know, no air conditioning. The deal I had in the back of the truck, the old truck, didn't have air conditioning, didn't have heating. I woke up some mornings with ice on the windows on the inside. Now this is where this does come in handy, especially now, you know, getting up in age, is that I do have an air conditioner, and the heat used to bother me more than the cold. Cold, I can always get in the bedroll, get on the blanket, you know, it's something to handle that. But the heat, sometimes you don't try to open the little doors and vents, and the mosquitoes to eat you up. I'd actually take wet towels that I had in the igloo ice box beside me and pull them out and lay them over me until you know, just to cool down. But this, you know, it's got all, you got your clothes areas. The ice box is really nice because, you know, you got your cold drinks in there, and you got. I'm very simple about what I eat. I usually have frozen dinners and some soups and tuna fish and things like you'll see in the cabinet here. You know, it's I really do try to keep it simple. I fish all day. I come in tired. I don't have a lot of energy to prepare a big meal. So, you know, you kind of do what works best for you. Of course, the most important thing to cooking for me is the microwave. I rarely ever use the stove. Of course, like I said, it has, you know, heating here. Of course, that's important. You know, coffee every morning, and then of course you got this. You can see, this is one of the best places there is to sleep in a campground. You know, and if there's other campers, and there's always those little yappy dogs. Well, I just turn my little fans on, and that drowns them out, and I can sleep and get up, you know, early the next morning, because that's what you're doing at the tournament. You're fishing all day, you're going to bed early, then you get up early morning and start all over again. So that's kind of a quick tour of my little facility. I do really enjoy it. I would have probably, and this is probably not true, this is probably true, I would have probably quit fishing 20 years ago if I had to stay in motels, because you just never knew where you were going, and like all the things I described earlier, they were so inconvenient.